I'm Talia, and I'm the founder of All Seated in a Barn, and I got back the middle of last week, about a week ago, from the auction where we managed to save over 40, sorry, we didn't get any donkeys this time. We got all horses. And a large chunk of those horses actually came here to California, with quite a few also going to our quarantine facility in Texas. Some of the notable ones we followed along on Instagram that we had come in would be the thoroughbreds. We've got Manny, the shaggy horse, the black and white draft horse, the mule Evie, Ellie, the big warm blood who we're actually seeing with the vet right now. So we had, there's a lot. There was over almost 30 horses came in 2 days. Some of these are horses that have been in quarantine with us, like Aaron, Motley, Ace, who has a pending adoption, Justine. These are all horses that we've had in our program back in Texas. They've been at a trainer's, and now that we feel that they're ready, they can come out here and we can continue riding and assessing them until we feel they are ready to move on to become available for adoption. So it's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts the last 7 days. A lot of moving parts. It's a lot. On top of the socks. There are so many socks being mailed out. Thank you for buying socks. But it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff going on.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Lucas here at All Seated in a Barn. We're just starting to go with some of our new intakes. Passed his health check, so now we're starting to check him out lameness-wise. Looking great and sound, so we're just going to take some x-rays of his front feet to help the horseshoer know exactly what's going on. We don't have x-ray vision, so we give him a blueprint exactly what's going on inside that hoof capsule.
Morning, Fletcher with All Seated in a Barn. This is a special guest, Miles. Today we're just getting through a couple projects that we've been working on. We gotta film our segment. A couple days ago, we had one of our new horse trainers, Kendall, was riding one of the horses in the round pen. The horse got a little crazy on her, was bucking around and happened to kick and break actually 2 wood planks in our round pen. So this morning we're kind of working on getting that patched up and fixed. We actually have our first wedding coming up here at the venue. So we got some new projects that we're working on. We actually have 2 gazebos that we're building and some new patio furniture. So that's pretty exciting, and we're gonna hopefully get to that today and tomorrow before the rain comes.
So today, unfortunately, we noticed something's off with Teddy. We rescued Teddy about 3 months ago at the auction. He's a senior pony in his 30s. They actually were riding him through, which is horrifying. We noticed that he's not moving right. Unfortunately, with these senior horses, it's not a matter of if, it's when. Their bodies, from just age, neglect, combination of all, start breaking down. And Teddy, we already knew coming into it that based on his x-rays, that he's not gonna be with us forever. We know that, but we can give him all the love that we can while we have him. And unfortunately today, his hind end is starting to go out. So he's starting to want to fall over, causing him a lot of pain because of the degradation. We had the vet look at him, and the right thing to do for Teddy is to put him down. It's obviously not what we would all like in an ideal world, but he also can't suffer. And we also can have the peace of mind of knowing that at least, the very least, the last 3 months, Teddy got spoiled. All the things he should have had for a very long time with whoever owned him before. It's the sad reality of rescue, is us having to pick up the parts of where other people let them fall apart. It's sad for Teddy.
Hi, I'm Walker Reynolds. I'm the farrier out here at All Seated in the Barn, and today we worked on quite a few different horses. And seeing as we have so many to do, I got an extra hand. A buddy of mine, Lane Sells, is a horseshoer here in town, so he came out to help us and just try to help make this chaotic day a little bit more manageable. We're working on a ton of different horses. One of the ones we worked on was a horse named Manny. I didn't do much. He blew an abscess, so we just wrapped it and doctored it with pneumatizing. He's a Cushinoid horse, which means he has a Cushing's disease is what they call it, and you can see that a lot of times with the horse. They'll have a lot of long hair. They don't shed as well. They end up having a lot of abscesses and foundering. To fix that, a lot of times you get blood work to check, see what it is, and if they do have that, then you'll start them on a medication. That'll help your farrier a ton, because if you don't medicate the horse to try to help it internally, it's really hard to do a good job with its feet, because that disease just keeps causing it to get worse and worse over time.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Desiree at All Seated in a Barn today. So today has just been a lot going on today. Walker had taught me how to wrap a abscess. So earlier I had Jamie, I had to wrap her foot because she has an abscess. So we put the pink stuff, the smelly stuff, that to help to pop it out. And then I do a pink gauze to wrap it, just to snug the gauze on top of it, and then vet wraps, and then the sticky stuff to make it stay. I have to wrap it twice because we want to make sure it's nice and good snug. You don't want it too tight, because it's too tight, they don't have enough blood pressure with it, any blood flow going through. For the abscess vet wraps, we will have to wrap it every 2 days. Not just one. I have 2 horses that I will have to wrap today on Thursday. Look forward to it.
My name is Mary O'Toole. I'm a volunteer. I call this my happy place. This is Katie. I don't know who's walking who. She's a good girl. She's young. My first time to walk her, and she did okay, but apparently she doesn't want to walk anymore. This is the first time I've been out here since actually December 22nd. I've never seen her before until this morning. All these horses are new. They're rougher to walk than others. So I'm gonna try walking a different one and put her in her pen because she's being stubborn. But she's being good right now. Yeah, she was trying to get coffee, but animals don't get coffee, not even horses, you know. But she's a love bug. I'm going to groom her. I'm gonna put her in her pen and go get the grooming kit and groom her. Brush her, rebraid her braid here in the front, and give her some loving. That's what they all need, is some loving. Yeah, even the rowdy one. I wanted to walk this one over there, but he's in training. And so when a horse is in training, you don't walk them. You let the professional take care of them. And that's it.
Hey everybody, this is Leanne at All Seated in a Barn. We're getting ready for a most lovely weekend. I pray to God it doesn't rain. We've got a beautiful wedding this weekend. We've got a birthday party with lovely children on Sunday. So we are rocking and rolling, and we're ready to have your events here at All Seated in a Barn, where it is as beautiful as it could ever be. So I'm also very excited about all of our new furniture that we're getting here. We're gonna put gazebos, new chairs by the fire pit. The groom's room is gonna rock with also a gazebo and beautiful table and chairs. We are getting it together to make your events spectacular.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Desiree at All Seated in a Barn. What can I say? Thought Wednesday would be a good day? No. Today is shenanigans. Oh, you see this gate? This gate is no longer with us. It's broken. At this point, I'm just gatekeeper, make sure all the animals are in here. Don't escape. We don't want animals escaping, right? Wilbur already escaped, but he was easy fix. I mean, you don't want Scruffy or Yacky. Get out of this place. Welcome on Wednesday. Enjoy the day.
Good morning, everyone. It's Tiffany with All Seated in a Barn. Today, for our round pen discussion, we are going to be talking about spending quality time with your horse. And then I'm going to show you guys an advanced groundwork move that you can practice with your horse when you reach that stage. So I'm here with Vivian, and this is only my third time working with her. But you could see throughout our session that she has gained trust and confidence with me by her side. And whenever I get to know a horse that's new to my lineup, I always spend a lot of time just being with them. And I know that sounds silly, right? And in our world, we're always rushing around trying to get to the next destination. But when we want to form that relationship with our new horse, it's really about what you're doing in the space between your training sessions. So taking the time to groom your horse, taking the time to tend to your horse's feet, taking the time to brush your horse's mane and tail, and really just take care of them is a great way to form a bond with your new horse. It creates trust between you and your horse, and that will translate as you ask for more in your training. So I'm just gonna take a few minutes here to groom Vivian before we begin. And I challenge you guys to make some time this week to spend time doing nothing with your horse. Go sit in their paddock, go sit in their stall, and just be with them. Observe them, watch them. How do they interact with other horses? How do they interact with people? How do they like their environment? How do they respond in different environments? These are all different questions to ask so that you can get to know your horse better. I always like to, at the end of my sessions, hand graze them for a couple minutes. Horses love their grass, they love to graze. By allowing them that reward at the end of our session, it creates a good relationship between the two of us. Right, sweetheart? Good girl. And so that might seem like that was nothing, but I was standing behind Vivian, and on my cue, she came to me. Come here, sweet girl. Hey, good girl. Good girl. And so it's not about chasing your horse and trying to get them to come back to you. How can you naturally get them to come back to you? And so I just asked her to draw back to me. I didn't chase her. I didn't send her out on the round pen to run around. I just said, hey, come back to me. And she responded beautifully. So now what we're going to do, I'm gonna put a different halter on her so that I can lunge her and show you guys this figure 8 exercise that you can do with your horses. And again, this is an advanced groundwork exercise, so I do not recommend trying this exercise as your first groundwork session. But when I assess the horses, they always show me where they are at. And so in my session with Vivian yesterday, it was very clear that she was ready for this move. Another thing I want to comment on, when Vivian walked away and then I drew her back, you didn't see me go to grab the line that was on her because I don't want it to be a forced join up. I want her to choose to be with me. And so by allowing her that space to walk out and meeting her at that point, she was like, oh, actually I do want to be with her. And she came back to me, but it wasn't forced. I didn't grab the lead line forcing her to stay with me. I never want to give my horses no option. They always have a choice. They can leave or they can choose to stay and be with me. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. Whoa. Good girl. So I'm just gonna warm her up first on the lunge line, and then I will explain to you guys the move that we're going to do. So I'm just gonna send her out. It's important that your horse knows that the lunge line doesn't necessarily mean, okay, start running. They must be able to walk on a lunge line. And so addressing your cues correctly and staying consistent with them with your horse will teach them that it's good to walk on the lunge line. They must walk on the lunge line. And in the first few minutes, I never try to control what they're doing. I just want them to stretch their legs out and move around, and then I'll start asking for more. And when you're on the lunge line, you can always move your feet and ask your horse smaller circles, bigger circles. It's a great tool to use to get you and your horse on the same communication. So now I'm sending her forward, and then I'm going to pause my feet and ask her to circle around me. And then I'll ask her to go forward. And then I'll ask her to come into a smaller circle. I'm not pulling on her, I'm not chasing her, I'm not touching her with the lunge whip. Whoa, good girl, great job. And now we're just gonna change direction. Good girl. So the figure 8, what you are doing is you're blocking their forward movement with the lunge whip. To get them to change direction, it's all about the placement of your lunge whip. So I'm going to demonstrate and then I will explain. Whoa. Good girl. Good girl. Whoa. Good girl. You can see my movements they're not harsh, they're soft, they're gentle. Whoa. Good girl. I don't want a horse that explodes in their transitions. I love when they are soft in their transitions. Whoa. Good girl. I'm asking her to face me while I simultaneously switch hands with the lunge whip. And that switch of hands asks her to change direction. So what do? I ask her to stop, I switch hands, and by me switching hands, it sends her out in the opposite direction. And that is a figure 8. Whoa. Good girl. Good girl. Whoa. Good girl. So it's all about being soft with your body language, and it's about timing and how you place your lunge whip to ask for that change of direction. Whoa, change of hands and send her out. Great job. And now that she's done all of those beautifully, I'm gonna send her out and just ask her on a bigger circle. She aced that exercise, and so now we'll move on to other things, because you never want to burn out your horse with the same exercise. It's like teaching a child in school. If they did it perfectly the first 5 times, why are you going to make them do it another 10 times? Walk. And so to close my session with Vivian, all I'm gonna ask for her is a nice walk around the circle. And then once she completes that, we're gonna close out our session, because I want her to know that walking is what I'm asking for. And so I'm not driving her forward, but every time she looks at me, I point so that she knows what direction she needs to go in. Whoa. Good girl. And so doing that with Vivian over the next couple of sessions will create a great relationship between her and I for when I'm ready to get on her back.
Hi, I'm Tracy, and this is Jane. Some of the videos I've done have been with who I call Lady Jane. She is a beautiful bay mare. She might be getting adopted by Carla, one of our volunteers here. It just makes my heart so happy. She's gonna go to a great home. She's gonna be a companion horse. You know, everybody here at All Seated is just so great with all the horses. They just love on them, make sure they get what they need, advocate for them to get the good, safe homes that they also need. This is gonna be the second girl, hopefully, that I've seen in my short time here getting adopted. It's a wonderful thing.
The best way to support us is always through donations, whether that be product that we need or monetary. And you can do that by joining our Patreon, going to the website, or visiting any of our social media platforms for links on the best ways to help us.